Relationship or friendship was forged between two men that had one thing in common. Two things was God and football. But the relationship came about. They started doing the dad show together. And each man had an appreciation for the other. So when we was thinking about somebody that could come up here and give Pastor Q that word of encouragement, Pastor Q already had it in mind. So for the next 20 minutes, we'll have a short video, then we'll have a short speaker, and then I'm going to cut and paste this sermon, and we're going to allow him to sit right there. Is that okay with y'all? All right. The last person that you'll hear from is your pastor, and then we'll dismiss.
Amen.
Go ahead and roll the video. Let's learn a little bit about our speaker. Got the lights down.
First of all, when you're on the real team, you have to be colorblind. You know, I always tell my kids, you play for the next guy. That's your brother. So you do whatever it takes for him to be successful. And so it teaches you, I think it breaks some of them barriers, truly break barriers of color. Oh man, with what's going on in life today, what we hear on the news, and so I really can't understand sometimes. When you see football teams, basketball teams, and all these teams that are playing all over the country, and we still have what's going on in our society. It just really bothers me. It's not coming from football. It's not coming from athletics. I can promise you that, because athletics is bridging those gaps. And so, you know, I'm thankful to be a tool to help bridge them gaps. When they didn't come into the emergency room and they kept me in there for 6 hours, I knew something was going on. And so I knew when he came in, because you could see it on his face. Doctors don't need to play poker because they give it away. And I said, well, what is it, doctor? And we saw a mass. And so we found out that I had stage 4 esophageal cancer, which had metastasized to the liver and to my lungs.
Coach Jack's been on chemotherapy. The first initial treatments has not responded. We're changing treatment appropriately. He has great spirits as a fighter, and we're going to be trying the best to get him the best treatment around.
When somebody tell you that, they say they're trying to just live in your life as long as they can. You know, you got death wishes right there. It's time. We just don't know the time, but you die. You gonna die. You know, and so. You know, I never wavered in my faith, and I'm still not in my hope. I get emotional because I'm human. I don't want to die. I don't want to leave my children. I don't want to leave my family. But if that's the end, I'm still okay. I'm good. I am good. I've always had hope. My hope is in Christ. That's my genuine hope. He can keep me here 15 years, 25 years. He can take me out the next 3 months. But I don't sit there and worry about that every day. You know, I live my life. I try to come to practice, do what I can do. I get tired, go sit down. But that don't make me lose my hope. There you go, right there, good. We're in the business of developing young men and developing people. And people matters. All people matters. And so if you can have an input in a positive way on someone's life, it's more gratifying than anything. You know, it gives you a joy that's really unknown, because at the end of the day, You want to see others successful. I'm not a person who just want to be successful by myself. I have more joy in seeing others being successful. And so that's truly, what the purpose is coaching. It's a calling and it's a ministry to me. To me, Coach Jack's legacy is being an inspiration to kids, helping them go on and live their dream, So for more than anything, Coach Jack, he's blessed a lot of people and he's touched a lot of people in this community.
Coach Jack, he wants us to be better men, more than just better football players.
That's Coach Jack is probably the toughest stuff too, man, for me. He does it to show us that hard work does pay off, and then that if you do something bad, there's always consequences for it. Always. He taught me how to stay strong and always fight for the things that I want and how to compete.
He a tough coach. He wants you to do everything 110%. He wants you to run hard. He wants you to block hard. He wants you to chop hard. He wants you to do everything hard.
He was mainly the reason I'm still playing football. I couldn't afford football, cleats, I couldn't afford really anything. Coach Jack helped me out. The first thing he said to me was, we're going to get you better. And for the next 4 years, I put my head down and worked hard for him, and it's paid off so far. Everything he said.
He wants you to be the best you can be. He's trying to get you to the next level.
We love Coach Jack. And I said, we mean that. I love you, Coach, for real. We here by your side through it all. Whatever we do is for him.
And we're all praying for you. We love you.
And we love him. We're going to keep praying for him. I love you. And thank you. I want to tell you I love you, Coach Jack. You always be in my heart no matter what. And every time I step on the field, it's for you. And I'll always give my effort to you, no matter what.
You don't have some experience of adversity in your life and how you deal with it. That's what we teach our kids. We tell our kids all the time that the game of football is a whole life. It's a life situation. A whole game is a life situation. Because you go through a game, you get knocked on your butt, you gotta get up. You go through a game, you get behind and score, what you get it, you don't give up. You get beat by 35, or somebody gonna look to each other and say, let's go. Let's make a play, let's turn this thing around, and let's get it where we need to go. And I tell my kids, it's how long you stay in adversity. It's going to determine your outcome.
For the next few minutes, by request of our pastor, I introduce the AD, head football coach at LBJ, a man of faith, Coach Jackson. Check. See if that one. No, I don't know technology.
Still, it's on. First of all, let's say praise God. Can everybody give God some praise? This is not about Coach Jackson. I want you guys to know this. When I came in, I asked God, whatever I do, let it be edifying to the body of Christ.
Yes,
and that's what I want.
Amen.
But then I know it's Pastor Appreciation Day. And what Appreciation Day. It's good to have a man that serves God, to give you the word every Sunday so you can go home and be fed.
Yes.
But the most important thing is to live it.
Yeah.
It don't do no good when it fall on
You got it.
hard ears, right? Because the Bible says if you have ears, it's good to listen.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a good thing. But I'm not going to come and try to give you a sermon and things like that. But I do want to speak from the Word of God. Because it's not about what Coach Jack said.
Amen.
It's what God said.
Yes.
And from what I've been hearing, you got a pastor who give you word every Sunday.
Yes.
So I'm just going to give you a little word. Then I'm going to give you a little encouragement, Pastor, because I understand your story. Me and Pastor go back a long way.
Okay.
I'm 50 years old. His daddy built my house. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's a long time ago. My mom and dad still live in the house, Pastor. So your dad did great work. Great work. So, Mr. Quick, I can remember Mr. Quick building on my dad and mom's house. So I thank him also. But the first scripture I want to talk to you guys, and it's a congregational deal. And it's a family deal because I'm big in family. I'm big in family because we should love our family. We should be searching out our family, those that are lost. We should become bringing them back to the flock. Yeah, that's one of our callings. It's what God wants us to do as individuals. But it's in 2 Chronicles, and I believe it's chapter, let me make sure I didn't lose my,
Take your time.
chapter 7, verse 14.
2 Chronicles.
2 Chronicles. It says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and heal their land. That is so significant.
Yes.
But what is the common thread in Christianity? The common thread is faith. Without faith, you can do nothing. And from what I see of past experience, you have a guy based on faith.
Yes.
Because what he's been through, he has to have some faith. He has to have faith. And what I understand this last 7, 8 months of my life, that God rewards faith. He rewards faithfulness. That's one thing God loves is faithfulness. He loves when we get up in the morning and talk to him every day. Because that's faithfulness.
Yes.
He loves it. So my question to you, what is faith to you?
Come on now.
Well, my definition, now this is Coach Jackson's definition because I have experience. So I got some experience I can take you through. All right. It's the unwavering belief in putting what you believe into action.
Amen. It's already done.
Go ahead. Because if you don't believe in something, you really not going to put it into action.
Yeah.
But when you believe something, your work's going to show. Just like what is taking place here today in this congregation. We have believers who believe in what is being said. That is faith. When you open up a can of peaches, do you believe peaches in the can?
That's good.
When you open up a can of green beans, do you believe green beans in the can?
Yeah.
You know what that is? That's an act of a little faith. Just a little bit. And as I read my Bible, it's funny how Christ is with his disciples every day. And he always says, ye a little faith. Ye a little faith. But he's telling us, don't take a lot.
Right.
Because it's going to be him who do it anyway.
That's right.
We just have to hold on to just a little faith.
Yeah.
That little belief. And live just by. And that little belief turns into that confidence. And then it turns into what? Hope. And where your hope is at? In Christ Jesus.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
See, our hope is it should be in Christ Jesus.
Yeah.
Those who are Christians that are walking by faith should be in Christ Jesus. Period. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. You saw the video? Oh, yeah. That devil's something else.
Yeah.
Because during his time, He's testing your faith.
Yes.
Then the good Lord is testing your faith also. And who you want to listen to? Who you want to sit in your recliner and think about? I think about God.
Yes, I
I think about the goodness.
Amen.
Do you know how good He's been to me already?
Yes.
I'm a black young man from Northeast South.
Yes, sir.
All right, all right.
Who's one of the winning coaches, black coaches of Texas.
Come on, man. Nobody but God.
You know?
Nobody but God.
But just all the waving favor that I have seen through my life, that I didn't even know that God had His hand on my collar the whole time. But you know where they come from? They come from faith of the mustard seed when I was a little boy. Being taught the gospel of Christ. And I held on.
Yes.
Now I'm in the crisis of my life.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Holding
I'm
on.
not even wavering. I'm not even scared. So Pastor, my deal to you, I don't care what the devil put in your path. I don't know what he brings to your mind. The Bible said we only need a little. It didn't say we need a whole lot. Because at the end of the day, it's going to take God to get us across that finish line. It's going to be God. So the suicide, the addiction, all that, we all have problems. But God take us through different situations as individuals.
Yes.
Because you know why? He's giving you a personal testimony. Just like He gave me mine.
Yes.
If you're a Christian, you have a personal testimony with God. So my purpose of cancer, guess what? It's not what? Worry about what other people say and fall on sickness. My purpose of cancer was Jackson. I want you to get closer to me, son. Now, do I have ears to listen?
Yes.
I do, because I had this faith.
Yeah.
So guess what? I cry out to God every day.
Yes.
It's normal for me now.
Little prayer. Just a little community.
I pray out to God every day.
Yes.
Every day.
More than once a day. More than twice a day.
Yeah. Come on, first day.
When you have faith, you know what you had? You had a relationship.
Yes.
And so then His Spirit comes to dwell in you.
Yeah.
And when His Spirit comes to dwell in you,
Yes.
God's Spirit dwell in you, Pastor, you know why you can eat the flock? Because He started revealing things to you. You start seeing things. Because He's giving it to you.
You got the vision.
Which makes your faith even stronger because you know that God's giving it to you.
Yes.
So I love the relationship now. I have so much peace.
Yes.
Right now that you guys know. I wish I could give something. I wish I could give y'all something. I don't want it to myself. I want to share it with you. That's why I'm here today. Because I want to show what God has put inside of me right now to give out to others. Because He didn't keep this one just for me. I know He doesn't give this just for me. This is too good just for me to have for myself. Too good. So, if I leave you guys with anything, understand, He don't require much. He don't require much. But what He do require is a personal relationship. That's right. Can't live through mama. You can't live through daddy. He do require a relationship because guess what? He want to see your face. He want to know you're trusting in Him. And one of the hardest things for individuals to do is to give it up. To be submissive. It's hard to be submissive because we like controlling things. Because we think we in control. Lord, you just don't. You're not in control of anything. That video told me I wasn't in control of nothing. That doctor came in and told me. I was like, but you know what I said? He looked at me crazy when that doctor came in. You good? He said, Mr. Jackson, it's bad. I said, you know what? It was going to take God to heal me anyway. So right then and there, I showed my what?
Your faith.
My faith.
Yes.
I said, my faith is not going to wake me in this. So they give you bad news. But then last week I come in, guess what?
Come on.
Say it.
Say it.
God said, it's not time yet, devil. I'm going to give him a good report so he can hold on to his faith. Just a little longer. So he make it to glory. Finish his course on work. His work on earth. So guess the doctor came in and said, well, Doc, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah.
We kind of strange, but we got a pretty good report.
Huh.
I said, well, tell me, Doc, what it's about. He said, first of all,
Show up.
your counsel is stable. I said, what? He said, it's stable. I said, I thought it was metastasized. It's stabilized. Chemo seemed to be working. I said, that's God. Let's give him the glory. I said, can you say amen, Doc? He said, well. I said, say amen, Doc. He said, amen. I said, amen. I said, say it again. Amen. Let's give God the glory for this.
All the
Because
glory.
he using him to give me, help me. So he said, we got the radiologist and it seemed like your tumors are decreasing. Against bones. I said, praise God. Praise God.
Glory go to God.
So faith of a mustard seed can move. If it can move around, it can show move, can't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
If it can move around, one way over there, it sure can take this little stuff out of my body and get it out of there. So hold on to your faith.
Okay.
Whatever you're struggling with.
Thank you, Lord.
Because when you hold on to your faith, what you telling God, I'm giving my trust and putting my trust in you, Lord. It's not on me, it's on you. So whatever you do, just let your permissive will be done. So I can live with it. And I'm going to be, what's this? I'm going to be all good. See, the Bible showed me. And I used to pray this prayer. Lord, let your favor be done. And I'm going to leave this with you. Man, it's a little deep. I cried every night. Lord, let your favor be done. Heal this cancer. Give me that miracle.
Look at him. Look at him. Won't he do it?
Give me that miracle, Lord.
Yeah, won't he do it?
Yes, he will.
Woo!
I was so disturbed one night. Then he kept me up about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Come on, yeah.
Before I went to bed, he gave me a message. I'm going to tell you guys. All you guys have your faith and trust in Christ. You got your hand in God's hand. Let me tell you what. His will for you is for your favor already. So whatever his will is in your favor. For you. So you know what I said? I said, thank you, Lord. I go to sleep comfortable every night. Knowing that God's will is in my favor. All the time. Not sometimes. All the time. So my message to you, Pastor, hold on to your faith. Your undesired faith. Because your belief is showing what you believe. And your faith in God loves it.
Yes, he does.
How you say hallowed that?
Yes,
Hallowed that. God hallowed that.
If you got that.
Yes.
He said
Your
that.
spirit is
If
good.
you got that on the
He
bag.
telling me the story about suicide. I'm like, this guy right here? Now
Yeah.
he knows God can change.
Yes.
But it started with his faith.
Change. It's all about.
All of you guys, keep holding on to your faith.
Yes.
Because the faith, what it do, it increases belief, it increases perseverance, And above all,
What a
live
word.
peace out over Christ.
What a word. What a word.
And we can hope in Christ Jesus. Because guess what? This is temporary.
Yes.
Remember that. But faith is
Yeah.
for real.
For real.
This temporary, but faith gonna go
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So hold on.
Hold on.
Give it up. When you're back against the wall. What the kids say when you're back against the wall? Hold on. That's what
Change
Coach
is
Jackson's
coming.
doing. So you keep praying for me.
So hold on.
Because guess what? I'm going to let my faith work for itself because God going to work it out. He's in control. Y'all pray for your pastor. Because he has shown some undesired faith. And guess what? You need a faithful servant. To serve you guys. So give him a hand of applause. Pastor, I love you. Thanks for your advice. Church, I appreciate your prayers. I know you're praying for me. And thank God for faith. Thank God.
I don't think I have to
Say too much.
Words been.
The preachers
Yeah.
already spoke.
Already spoke.
Amen.
sometimes you just gotta let the Holy Spirit do what he does.
Amen. Amen.
And it's been a glorious day.
Yeah.
Just looking at some of the appreciation that we seen, there was
Oh,
wonderful.
yes.
But now we've come to that time where the real appreciation happens. And we're going to let our pastor, he wants some word. Pastor wants me to preach for 5 minutes.
You can do it. We have faith in you.
Well, let me preach. Give me my book. Give me 5 minutes. Give me my book. I sent my book back. It's that day.
Come on,
Turn to
John.
Habakkuk. Habakkuk. I call it Habakkuk. I think it's a different name. I thought I was going to get off easy. But you can stay right there.
Yeah.
Habakkuk.
H-A-B-A-K-K-U-K. Habakkuk. Habakkuk. Chapter 2.
I do too.
Check. Just give me a few minutes and I'll be done. I'm going to cut and paste. Stay seated for the reading of the word. And I'll start with chapter 2 in this stand. You don't have to stand. I will stand at watch and I'm at the station myself on ramparts. I will look to see what he will say to me. And I will answer. I am to give this complaint. Understand, Habakkuk was trying to figure out why do the unrighteous prosper and the righteous suffer. Then the Lord replied, the same Lord that spoke to Habakkuk speaks to you when you allow him to. Write down the revelations and make it plain on tablets so that the herald may run with it. For the revelation waits an appointed time, and it speaks of the end, and all will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come without a delay. So quickly, I want you to understand that Habakkuk was very unhappy. There were some things going on in the time in the community. There were some situations happening that caused him, just like me and you, we were unhappy. He was unhappy with the way that the world was going. He was unhappy with what was happening down here. He was very unhappy with what was happening with politics in the community and in the schools. He was very unhappy with his own people.
Yes.
And so at that point, at his point of being unhappy, he talked to God.
Amen.
See, I don't know, when you get to that point, have you ever just sat down and spoke with God about what's going on in the world? Have you ever asked God, well, is things happening, and why is the president doing this, and why are we so focused on kneeling at a football game when we need to be focused on salvation and saving? Have you ever thought about that? Habakkuk was wondering about that. Habakkuk was wondering about the moms that are dealing with their issues and the children that are dealing with their issues, and he was not real sure why we were so focused on what the unrighteous were doing and not focused on God. One thing that you got to understand that was going on with Habakkuk is God was trying to speak with him directly. God was trying to work through his frustrations and his anger. But Habakkuk at times, sometimes kind of not necessarily went against God, but he had such a relationship to God that he could just ask God, why? Why am I like this? And why is my family going through this? And I see people doing the wrong thing every day, but they are prospering. I used to ask that question. I just got over it. I'm 40 years old, and I wanted to know why am I trying to do right? And that man out there selling those drugs is prospering. I wanted to know, why do I go to work every day, and why do I do the right thing as a father, but I'm still suffering? I wanted to know. Yes, sir. Habakkuk had a question. I'm a faithful man, God, and I got a faithful family, and I'm in church, but why? Yes, sir. Sometimes we get so caught up in the world, we forget about our own 10 Commandments. I've been coming before. I've been mad at you before. I've left the situations, and you've left the situations that let you look at what somebody else has versus what God has given to you. That's where Habakkuk was. He wanted to know why with the Babylonians and why all of this stuff was happening. God gave him an answer that none of y'all want to hear. God says, Habakkuk, the answer to your first question is, like Coach Jack said, you better work on your faith. God told Habakkuk, I have implanted something inside of you. And because you have something inside of you, there's something that you got to do. He said, each one of us, you got to understand, God has something he's put inside of you. I don't understand why times are hard. I don't understand why situations are the way they are. But I want you to understand, your situation is not like my situation. And your situation is not like her situation or his situation. God has put something inside of you. The title of this sermon is, you got to get to a higher place. I forgot to tell you that. And so we sit here and we're looking at it. We say, every single day, I know it's right here. Some of us go into our rooms and don't tell me you don't do this. Because you've been so focused on what's here in the world and not what God has inside of you. You get in your room and you throw temper tantrums. You call it prayer. You get mad. God, I'm tired of this stuff. I've been doing everything, but that dog I've been trying. I've been praying. Ain't nothing doing. You go kicking stuff and throwing stuff and having crying fits. Don't say you've never done it. Don't say you've never gotten to that room and flipped that mattress or took your hand and ran it across that makeup counter. Don't say you've never done it. Come on, man. Come on. Something hits you in the back of your mind and you begin to cry. That's right. And you say, God, I'm sorry. I've been God, I didn't want to know why. I'm tired, God. I'm tired. Boy, you freaking. Could it be blamed for the cultural situations? Maybe we live in a microwave situation where we expect everything to happen right away, but in Habakkuk 2 it said somewhere in that text that you're going to have to wait. Maybe we live in a situation right now where we think things are just supposed to come easy. Come on, man. It didn't work like that because some of our ancestors were slaves, and I remember the songs that they sung, and they knew it wasn't coming fast, but they knew a change was coming, and they knew that the railroad was under. Why can't we think like our ancestors? God told you, it's something inside of you. You've been talking to too many people about it and not asking God about it. You've been talking to the people people down here and not talking to the man up there. We got to get to a higher place.
Come on, John.
Almost done.
This is good. This is
So
good.
God speaks to your spirit.
Yes. Drive-through service.
Habakkuk couldn't figure it out. He's asking why. How? What's gonna happen? Why the wicked prosper? Why am I doing right? But I ain't got nothing. The second time God answered him.
Yes, yes. Hallelujah.
God has already answered you.
Yes, yes.
God has already told you exactly what to do.
Amen.
But you can't do it because you're afraid that if you do what God actually told you to do, some people are going to be left behind. Some friends going to be left in the dirt. You're going to lose some things, and you're going to be put out there. So
Gone now. He is in my face right now.
he told God, God told Habakkuk, you got to get to a higher place.
Got to get to a higher place. Don't you?
He said, you can't worry about sleep. You can't worry about what you're going to eat, because he wrote it in the Bible later on. He said, you got to get to a higher place.
Yes, yes.
And on the way to this higher place, it's going to be pretty tough, because you're going to look around and you're going to find that it's lonely trying to get to the higher place. You're going to find that going to work is not that easy trying to get to that higher place. He's going to find out that in your situation right now, God told Habakkuk, the only way that you're actually going to hear me, the only way that you're actually going to see me, is you got to get to that higher place, regardless of what people think, regardless of the situation, regardless of where you are. But I stop by to tell you, whenever you decide to get to that higher place, and you start working your way up that mountain, your own friends, your own colleagues, your own people are going to say, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time trying to get to that place? Your God ain't done nothing for you yet. You might as well come down here and live prosperous. I stopped by to tell you today, Pastor Q been trying to get to a high place. But every time you try to get to the high place and you find yourself halfway there, somebody's down here yelling at you. Come on back here to my arms. Come on back to addiction. Come on back to living bad. Come on back to feeling sorry for yourself. Come on back to lying. Come on back to backsliding. Come on back to me. Why you going to that higher place? I don't even understand why you going to that school for church. Stay down here with me. It's possible. God told Habakkuk, regardless of your cancer, get to that higher place. God told Habakkuk, I know you just went through a divorce, but get to that higher place. God told Habakkuk, I know you don't have no gas in the car, but get to that higher place. God told Habakkuk, I know you got a limp in that right leg, but get to that higher place. God told Habakkuk, I know you out of blood pressure medicine, but get to that higher place. I had to stop because I'm a little tired. Get there. I can't get there by myself. He said, matter of fact, he said, walk out this time. I can't get there no more. He said, God, I wish my last one. I can't get there no more, God. It's been too hard, God. I just lost my daddy, God. I just lost my brother, God. My children are sick, God. I can't make it to that place. And God said, just hold on to my unchanging hand. And I'll take you up there, Habakkuk. I know it's been hard. This is when the trouble comes. Hold on. Hold on. Stop the press. Stop the music. 3 minutes. You made it to the higher place. But baby, this is when the trouble comes.